Let's get it. LS. Boom. Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to discuss why we're not going with the hydro throwout bearing. We're going to go ahead and finish buttoning everything up, twerking the flywheel and the pressure plate, and probably get around to making the motor mounts and the transmission mount. Just keep the ball rolling. I mean, all we got left is literally dropping it down into the truck, flashing the ECU, getting these mounts knocked out. I mean, we possibly have a running and driving truck. I mean, well, at least running. I'm not driving yet. We got to get that drive shaft too. Forgot about that. But let's get to what we're looking at. We got the old 5.3 here, still chained up. And I went ahead and put everything back together. Put the manual throwout bearing back on there. And just how it works is there's a slave cylinder here that pushes. As it pushes it engages. And the pressure plate's kind of sprung on those little prongs. And then it just pushes it back. So as you push the clutch, pushes it back. Still hydraulically driven, just not actually hydraulic itself. It's sitting right here. The reason I'm not really going with it, A, it doesn't bolt up right. Even if it was 2 bolts from there to there, it doesn't work. And this shaft right here is too wide, too big of a diameter. It will not go on. I can show you like right now, it just doesn't go on any further than this little collar. So I've got some parts come in. We just need to open up some mail and keep everything rolling. Let's see if we got the new throwout bearing, the pressure plate bolts, because I did forget those. Alright. But I'm going to take a guess and say this is the pressure plate bolts. Go from small to large. Yep. ARP pressure plate bolts. Just went ahead and looked at ARP. I just kind of trust them. You can go your own route with that. Some people say it's just bolts. I say the same thing when shit snaps. It's just the bolts that snap. Just bolts. Just bolts. Alright, here's our throwout bearing. Oh yeah. Alright, and this has got to be the slave. Keeping everything just stock stuff. Like everything is just for the 4.8. We got our slave here. Like I was saying, we'll have a line to it. It'll activate like I was pushing on it. Boom. Now we just got to get these parts on. Alright, so we just got to take this little clip off. It's threaded actually. You can just turn it to the left and it'll slowly come off. Take the little washer off here. See how it's kind of got that concave to this ball here? goes back on that way. And you just pull this guy off like that. Also heard of people reinforcing this, saying that if you're gonna be beating on it, that it's not a bad idea to box this up. I think I might do that. I mean, it's not a bad idea while it's out. Alright, just slide your throwout bearing off now. Set it here. And now you take the new one. You just slide it on. Definitely put you some grease in here. Not a bad idea, even to pack some around the bearing. You're not gonna hurt it. You just slide that guy on. Put this behind that lip there. It goes in that little groove, not behind it, like I about just did. Goes in between. And then you just line it back up with that little peg. Put that on. And then your pin, if you can see, the bump goes toward it. So like it goes like that. And then next we just gotta grab the slave cylinder. Alright, we got the throwout bearing all greased up. Now you just wanna put this guy in here. You don't wanna have the bleeder facing up to you. Like it'll be inside the transmission. Start will be on top of it, you'll never get to it. You have it flipped, put in there like that. Bleeder facing down, line facing down. But you just put that guy in there like that. Line up that dowel. Come to the other side here, throw your bolts in. I'm just gonna tighten that up real quick and gonna go ahead and put the transmission back onto the motor. These ARP flywheel bolts are a little bit longer than the automatic ones. A clean little 350Z. Speaking of 350Z, might have some of that start showing up on the channel soon. I just kind of thought about it, but I've never drained the oil out of this thing. It's always had it in it, so let's see what it even looks like. Oh shit, I missed a little bit. This is black. This shows you how much of a hill I'm on. Shit's taking off. I mean, I guess one good thing, we didn't have any coolant or any like weird water sitting in it. I mean, it's dirty, super dirty. Alright, I lost you for a minute. I looked over and the battery was flashing. It had died. So all that really happened was I got the pressure plate torqued down. It's ready to go. And next step is just grabbing that transmission over there, rolling it over and bolting it back up. I'm going to set it down here. Alright. So I was kind of worried about how many actual bell housing bolts we were going to have, but we've got 1, 2, pretty good little dowel here, 3, missing these 2, and then 4, 5, and then a big dowel here again. I don't know if you can really see that. But sleeve fits on the way it should. Starter will go here. I mean, we're making like huge progress. Literally, I'm super excited. Like, the only thing we have left is to like flash the computer, knock out these mounts, and the drop shaft, of course. But I guess we can go ahead and start working on these motor mounts. Alright, so on the LS, it has a 4-bolt pattern. You can see it there, 2 holes, 2 holes. You can come over here to the block and see it's got 2 holes there and 2 holes there. Well, I already had some mounts for a small block Chevy. You just do your own custom mounts, put on some plates, and there's other ways around it. You can order this same kit that will go bolt straight onto an LS, or if you're like me with already the small block mounts, you need to make something. My buddy Houston Kilby sent me a little video of hooking me up with these templates here. I'll go ahead and put that in now.
Hey brother, I've got the plate if you want it. I've got a big enough piece if you just make this basic shape right here and then weld your mount to the center of this. I don't suggest doing the slot deal like what I done. I had problems with this. It's like on one side of the motor you got to have it notched out to fit, and it kind of gets really complicated. So I would keep it simple and just make this rectangle looking piece that I've got marked out here. There's your 4 holes you need, and then weld or bolt to whatever you need to in the center here, and not do this offset thing. I ran into problems with this, and I just thought I'd give you a heads up. You can do it, but just know it's kind of complicated, and I would keep it as simple as possible.
But here's the steel. Here's the templates. Like he was saying, he was putting the 3 bolts here in the slotted grooves, and then this was bolting onto it. He ran into a couple issues, so he thought it'd be a better idea just to do the 4 bolt, just cut the plate out with the 4 bolt holes, and then weld this somewhere out of the way. And that was kind of my idea on it too. So this is like the whole motor mount as well. This bolts to the engine, and then this comes over to the frame and welds on however you like, whether you got to cut it here, here, at the end, an S in it, a B in it, whatever. You can cut it to fit. But yeah, we just need to, I don't know if I want to trace out and make it skinnier, kind of how it's overhanging, or if this plate is just going to fit. I think I'm going to go see how that fits. I mean, you can't have too much still. Alright, so it does need to be a certain, because it's eventually going to hit into the block there. But I'm pretty sure it'd have to be a pretty good distance down. Just to be safe, I say we go ahead and make it exactly to the template, draw out the 4 holes, and then we can weld on the new small block Chevy mounts. Alright, just gonna lay my template down. Got the edge of the metal here, lined up with that. I'm just gonna mark the 4 holes. Alright, I got the first 4 holes drilled. I've got to go to a different size bit, go up a little bit more. You can get the idea. We're going to be doing the same thing the other plate. Alright, if it didn't make sense before, what I meant by the small block Chevy mount and welding it to it is, here's kind of my idea. Just laying that over. Now that we have the 4 here, that'll bolt to the motor. This used to bolt to like an older carbureted 350 Chevy. And we'll just weld this plate onto there so it'll kind of adapt it to the new bolt pattern. And then just goes through there and then it goes welds over to the frame. We just had to bend this little piece right here. It was kind of like 45 down, keeping it from going flush. I'm just going to clean this paint off and get to welding. Alright, so after ending that clip, I realized I no longer have a grinder. If you look back on the Cletus and Cars burnout contest, I let Boosted Boys borrow the grinder, and it went missing after that. Me and Kyle looked for it. Nobody could find it, so ran down to Harbor Freight. They were closed that night, so it's a new day. We're just going to continue on with grinding the back of the motor mount so we can get a good clean weld and clean up the motor mounts themselves a little bit. Alright, got the metal nice and cleaned up on the back side of the mount, including around the edges so we can get a good clean weld. I'm just going to put it on here, put some tack welds, and we'll be running up to my buddy, Houston Kilby. He has his own YouTube channel where he's building a GTO. You'll have to go check it out. He's also who helped me supply this metal in the video earlier. But yeah, go check it out. 5.3 over here waiting. You can kind of see how these plates work. The plate will just go here onto the 4 holes. It's kind of hard to see. And the motor mount will be on.
Good bit of day drinking, thinking of lies, you're telling him the river road swinging. I lost track of some of y'all, but now you're on my mind. And this smell on my shirt makes me think about the good times. The sun goes down, you know where I'll be with a case of good times and some John Deere dreams. It's sparks to the sky, I'm in my zone. Every night spraying on that campfire. A campfire.
Alright, this flux welder ain't the prettiest, but I just took a few measurements, try to make each one exactly the same. There we go. There's some motor mounts to go on this guy. Alright, so there's the finished product, actually bolted to the block. You can see it, just the plate bolts in. And we just have our little motor mount there sticking out. But that's going to be it on this one. Next video, we're probably going to go ahead and pull the wiring harness out and go ahead and start getting some wiring done. But thanks for watching, you guys, and have a good one.